Right now, as you watch this, Chrome is running a background process you never approved. Not a virus, not a hack. It's just Chrome. Doing what Chrome was always designed to do. And here's the part that should unsettle you. You agreed to it. You clicked accept. You installed it yourself. You probably even set it as your default. But before you close this video and tell yourself it's fine, I need you to stay with me for just 30 seconds. Because what I'm about to show you isn't a theory. It isn't a conspiracy. It's documented, it's verifiable, and it changes how you think about every single thing you do on the internet. Stick around. Because by the end of this video, you will never look at that little colorful circle the same way again. Here's what most people think. They think tracking means someone can see what websites you visit. Maybe Google shows you ads based on your searches. You already know that, right? No big deal. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something deeper. Something that exists inside Chrome. Not just what Chrome shows you, but what Chrome collects about you. About your behavior, your habits, your timing, your keystrokes. There's a feature buried inside Chrome right now, available to every website you visit, that can measure how fast you type. How long you pause before you click something. Whether your mouse hesitates. Whether you scrolled to the bottom of a page or stopped halfway. And here's the question nobody's asking. Who has access to that data? Where does it go? And how long has it been happening? We'll get to that. But first, let me show you something that Chrome's own documentation quietly admits. Google built Chrome in 2008, and the story they told was beautiful. A fast, clean, open-source browser, built for the user, by the people who cared about the web. That part was true in 2008. But let's talk about what Chrome is in 2024. Because Google isn't just a search company anymore. Google is an advertising company. 90% of Google's revenue, 90%, comes from ads. And what do you need to run the best, most profitable ads in the world? Data, behavioral data. The more specific, the better. Now ask yourself, what's the best possible tool for collecting behavioral data from billions of people around the world? A browser. A browser that 2/3 of the world's internet users have installed and trust completely. Chrome has something called Sync. You probably use it. It syncs your bookmarks, your history, your passwords, your open tabs. But syncing means sending that data to Google's servers. And once it's there, it becomes part of your Google profile. Your Google profile is one of the most detailed documents ever created about a human being. It knows your location history, your health searches, your financial questions, who you emailed, when you slept, because you stopped using your phone. But it goes even further than that. And this is where it starts to get uncomfortable. Chrome introduced something called the Privacy Sandbox, Google's own replacement for third-party cookies, the trackers that advertisers use to follow you across the internet. On the surface, it sounds good. They're killing cookies. Privacy win, right? Wrong. The Privacy Sandbox doesn't remove tracking. It moves tracking inside the browser itself. Instead of advertisers following you from outside, your own browser now builds a profile of your interests locally and then hands it to advertisers when they ask. Think about what that means. The tracking doesn't disappear. It just moves from being their surveillance to being your browser surveilling you on their behalf. And then there's something called the Web Environment Integrity API. This was a proposal from Google engineers, quietly floated in 2023, that would have allowed websites to verify whether your browser is approved. If your browser wasn't on the allowed list, if you were using an ad blocker, a privacy extension, a modified browser, websites could simply refuse to load for you. Critics called it a form of DRM for the entire web. A system where Google, through Chrome, could effectively become the gatekeeper of what you're allowed to access online. The public backlash was massive. Google pulled the proposal. But here's the thing about proposals. They tell you what someone was willing to try, and what they'll try again, more quietly, next time. Let me make this less abstract. Let me make this about you, specifically. You searched for something last month. Maybe it was about a health symptom. Maybe it was about a job. Maybe it was about a relationship problem. You typed it into Google using Chrome while you were signed into your Google account. That search is stored, not anonymously, not in aggregate, with your name attached to it, with the time and date, with your location, because Chrome knew where you were. Now imagine that data gets subpoenaed in a legal case. Imagine it leaks in a breach. Imagine it gets sold to a data broker, which is legal, and ends up being used to deny you insurance, or a loan, or a job. This isn't hypothetical. Courts have used Google location data to place people at crime scenes they'd never been to. Health data scraped from searches has been sold to insurance companies. A study by the Norwegian Consumer Council found that Google-connected apps share user data with hundreds of third parties before you've even finished reading a news article. The data you give Chrome isn't abstract. It has real consequences for your real life. And here's the part that keeps me up at night. Most people have no idea how much data they've already given away. Let me break down exactly how Chrome collects your data, in simple terms. First, there are cookies. You know about cookies, but Chrome doesn't just store cookies from sites you visit. It allows those cookies to communicate with Google's own servers. Every time a website uses Google Analytics, which is the majority of all websites on the internet, Google gets a ping, your visit, your behavior, your device, sent to Google. Second, Chrome has built-in telemetry. That means Chrome, by default, sends anonymous usage data back to Google. Now, anonymous is a word that tech companies love to use, but researchers have repeatedly shown that anonymous data can be de-anonymized. When you combine your IP address, your device fingerprint, your browsing patterns, and your time zone, there's really only one of you in the world. Third, and this is the one that surprises people, Chrome extensions. Most people have 2, 3, maybe a dozen extensions installed. Some of them are legitimate. Some of them are not. In 2020, researchers found more than 500 Chrome extensions secretly uploading user data, browsing history, credentials, search terms, to unknown servers. Millions of users were affected. The extensions had been in the Chrome Web Store for years. And fourth, autofill. Chrome offers to save your passwords, your addresses, your credit card numbers. All of that is stored in your Google account, on their servers, protected until it isn't. There have been documented cases of Chrome autofill data being accessed by malicious websites through script injections. Your saved data harvested invisibly. This is the infrastructure of the browser you use every day. Okay, now let's talk about the things most people never find out about. The risks that don't make headlines, because they're too boring to explain and too disturbing to ignore. Number 1, browser fingerprinting. You've probably heard of this, but you might not understand how powerful it is. Every browser creates a unique fingerprint based on your screen resolution, your installed fonts, your hardware specs, your browser settings, your time zone. Chrome's fingerprint is one of the most identifiable in the world because Chrome gives websites access to so many parameters. You can clear your cookies, use incognito mode, use a VPN, and websites can still identify you with 99% accuracy because your fingerprint doesn't change. Number 2, incognito mode is not what you think it is. Incognito doesn't hide your traffic from Google, from your internet service provider, from your employer, or from websites. It only prevents your local browsing history from being saved on your device. The rest of the world can still see everything you do. In 2024, Google settled a $5 billion lawsuit over misleading users about incognito mode's protections. $5 billion? Think about what that tells you. Number 3, third-party data sharing. When you use Chrome and you're signed into your Google account, your activity isn't just used by Google. It flows through an ecosystem of data brokers and advertising networks. The data about you becomes a product, bought, sold, and traded by companies you've never heard of, in markets you'll never see. Number 4, the Chrome Android feedback loop. If you use Chrome on Android, which hundreds of millions of people do, your location data, your app usage, and your browsing behavior are merged into a single comprehensive profile. Your offline behavior feeds your online profile. Your online behavior influences what you see in the real world. You are the product. You have always been the product, but the factory is bigger than you thought. All right, I've spent the last several minutes walking you through a system that is genuinely alarming, and I'm not going to apologize for that, because you deserve to know. But here's where the video changes. Because this is not a video about feeling helpless. This is not a video about paranoia. This is a video about information, and what you choose to do with it. The truth is, you have more control than Google wants you to believe. The truth is, there are browsers, tools, and habits that can dramatically reduce what's collected about you without sacrificing your experience online. The surveillance economy depends on 2 things, your ignorance and your inertia. It depends on you not knowing and on you not bothering to change. So let's break both of those right now. Here's exactly what to do. And I mean exactly, step by step, starting today. Step 1, switch your browser. This is the biggest move you can make. Firefox is the most mainstream option. It's fast, it's familiar, and it's built by a nonprofit that isn't funded by advertising. The Mozilla Foundation's entire mission is a healthy, private internet. Firefox has strong tracking protection built in by default, and it's compatible with virtually everything you use Chrome for. If you want something even stronger, try Brave. Brave is built on the same engine as Chrome, so websites work perfectly, but it strips out all of Google's tracking layers. It blocks ads and trackers at the network level, not as an afterthought. It's fast, often faster than Chrome, and it doesn't phone home to a data advertising company. For the most privacy-focused users, Tor browser. Tor routes your traffic through multiple encrypted relays, making you nearly impossible to fingerprint or track. It's slower, but for sensitive browsing, it's unmatched. Step 2, change your search engine. Google search feeds data back into your profile. Use DuckDuckGo, Brave Search or Start Page, these give you real search results without logging your queries or building a profile on you. Step 3. Use a password manager that isn't your browser, something like Bitwarden. Open source, free, and audited. Your passwords should not be stored on Google's servers. Step 4. Install uBlock Origin, especially if you stay on Firefox. It's the most effective ad and tracker blocker in existence. It stops requests before they reach your browser. It's not just about ads. It's about cutting off the data pipelines that follow you everywhere. Step 5. Review and revoke your Google data. Go to myaccount.google.com. Look at what Google has stored about you. Turn off location history. Turn off web and app activity storage. Delete what you can. Set to auto-delete for everything else. Step 6. Use a VPN with care. A VPN hides your traffic from your ISP and makes your IP address harder to identify. But choose carefully. A bad VPN is worse than no VPN because you're just moving your trust from your ISP to the VPN provider. Mullvad and Proton VPN are audited, verified, and genuinely privacy first. These aren't huge sacrifices. They take an afternoon to set up, and they fundamentally change your relationship with the surveillance infrastructure that currently knows more about you than your closest friends do. We started this video with a simple claim: Chrome is tracking everything. But I want to end with a bigger truth. It was never really about Chrome. Chrome is just the door. Google is the house, and the house was built around you, your behavior, your searches, your worries, your desires, to extract value from you at scale. You didn't sign up to be a data point. You signed up for a browser. The people who built this system are not evil. They're rational. They built the most effective attention and data machine in human history, and they built it using your trust as the foundation. But trust isn't a one-way door. You can revoke it. The next time someone asks you why you switched browsers, why you use a VPN, why you care about this stuff, you don't have to give a lecture. You just say, because I read the terms and conditions, not the document, the reality. If this video changed how you think about the tools you use every day, share it. Because the most dangerous thing about surveillance isn't that it exists. It's that most people still don't know they're being watched. And remember this: